for proper understanding of the importance of separation. We saw that it will help us to guard ourselves against any influence that makes sin look normal and righteousness looks strange. When we understand the need for separation, we'll guard ourselves, we'll be careful, we'll be more circumspect in how we deal with others, how we guard ourselves against sin, so that sin will no longer become normal and righteousness becomes strange. In some areas, in some gatherings, things that they were not accepting before, they are now accepting, and they are calling it civilization or whatever. Those things that mattered before no longer matter to them. So when we understand the importance of separation, we will guard ourselves against these things. We also saw that it helps the disciple to clearly see the destructive nature of worldliness. In many churches today, worldliness is no longer preached. People are not seeing anything about worldliness. And when we understand the importance of separation, we will know that we will not conform with the pattern of the world, and we shouldn't import the world into the church, because many are importing the world into the church, and it is not good for Christianity. So Jesus is telling the disciples that it is important that they separate, they be different, and we must be different. We also saw last week that the dangers of close association with worldly influence will become clearer to us when we understand the importance of separation. The dangers of close association with the world will become clearer to us. It's very, very important that we separate ourselves from the world. Then we also have to guard against the world infiltrating our Christian life without knowing it. When you understand the importance of separation, then you'll be able to guard against the world infiltrating into your Christian life to contaminate your Christian life or to defy your Christian life. Is very, very important. And the world, the devil can do this very softly, and to you it looks very, very normal. It looks, there is nothing bad about it, but it will gradually be corroding your Christian life and be eating up the fabrics of your Christian life. Then obedience to separation, we also saw last week. Obedience to the separation command is the antidote to satanic subtle efforts to move us closer to the world. When we obey, this command, it will be an antidote to the satanic subtle ways of pulling us closer to the world. That is very, very, so it's very, very important that we obey this command. And obedience to the command empowers the church, or empowers the disciple, to resist, the allures of the world and reap the benefits therein. When we obey, this command, it will empower us. It will empower you as a disciple, to jettison whatever the enemy is offering you, or whatever the enemy will offer you, and then you'll be able to reap the reward therein. Obedience to the command to be separated from the world will help the disciple, will help you, will help me to watch out for the unclean things and appearances of evil, as they are everywhere. We can see them everywhere. The unclean things that are happening everywhere, the appearances of evil that we see everywhere, they are everywhere. They are in the music, they are in the media, they are in business, in our business center. So many evil things are going on in our business centers, in our offices. So many evil things are going on. Some of us that are civil servants will not do anything, do our work without, collecting gratifications from, people. Others may be doing it and it looks very normal. But for a disciple, we should separate ourselves. We should stand clear. We should distinguish ourselves. To any other person, it's okay. You are paid for it, but before you do something for somebody, the person must, give you something. Before you sign a contract for somebody, the person must give you kickback. The person must give you 10%. The world may be doing it. In this country, or where we may find ourselves, it may be a norm. But it is not a norm in this kingdom. It's not a norm. It is not normal. So all the appearances of evil that we see in, around us, they are everywhere. In the music, they are there. There are people who call themselves gospel artists, but the life they live is a complete opposite of what a life of a child of God should be. Complete opposite. In entertainment is there. In everywhere, anywhere, it is there. But obedience to this command will help us to guard ourselves, to separate ourselves from the world and from the way they do their things. Even in the churches. So many churches, especially the Pentecostals, are allowing so many things. True disciples of Jesus should not be part of that. And we should separate ourselves and be distinct and be different from others. So the issue of separation from evil is fundamental to God's relationship with his people. God started this with the people of Israel. Any people he calls his people, he will want them to be separated. He will want them to be holy. He will want them to be consecrated to him. He started with the people of Israel. And that was why he asked them to come out of this separate. And he told them in those days that they shouldn't even intermarry with these ones. They shouldn't mingle with these ones. They shouldn't have themselves being yoked together with them. The reason is for them to be separate, because they are a different people. That is exactly receiving today. Today we are going to see in for the command, understanding the reason for the command. the command to be separate, the command to separate ourselves from the world of this age that Satan promotes. And there is the vast system of this age and the system that Satan promotes, and that is independent of God. The world doesn't want to know. The world doesn't want to know whether God is in existence. Whatever the world is doing is independent of God. The world is not depending on God. So they don't want to know. Whatever they are doing, they are not putting God in their calendar. Some time ago, there was a time they organized a marathon race in this city. A marathon race in this city. And that was done on a Sunday. They don't want to know. On a Sunday. And they blocked some roads. They don't want to know. They don't put God into consideration. They are doing everything they are doing independent of God. That is the way of the world. That is the system of the world. And that is the devil for you. Whatever they are doing, they don't want to know whether God is in existence. They don't want to know if it's important to give God reverence. They blocked all the roads on a Sunday, and they know that everybody, all Christians, go to church. Christians worship God. That is the way of the world. It's the way of the world. So it's very, very important that we understand this. It is a system of evil. The system we find ourselves in is a system of evil. So much evil. It's a system of immorality. That is the system we are in. It's a system where sinful lifestyle drives. Rebellion. That's where we find ourselves. And this is rebellion against God himself. And everything that God represents. So that is the system of the world. The world doesn't want to know. The devil doesn't want to know. Whatever God does, the devil will want to oppose it. The devil will want to rebel against it. The devil will want to antagonize it. And he will want to teach people to do same. So Satan has invaded every human endeavor and enterprise. That is the issue. The devil has invaded every human in everywhere. He has invaded everywhere. But in this situation, we are advised to be separate. And that is to say, we have to live a different lifestyle. We have to maintain a different culture. We have to maintain a different culture, a different lifestyle. The culture of the kingdom is different from the culture of our village. The culture we uphold in our villages, in our communities. The culture of the kingdom is different. That is why we are different. So the enemy has invaded every human endeavor. In the government, the devil is there. In the government circles, the devil is there. In culture, the devil is living there. In culture. In education, the devil has invaded education. In this part of the world. In education, the devil has invaded there so much that what used to be an abomination is now a norm. It's now a norm in education. In those days, when I was preparing for JAMB, I discovered that a center where people are being prepared for exam is a place where examination malpractice is being encouraged. Seriously, they will ask you to pay a certain amount of money so that they will help you, that you are taking WAEC or you are taking JAMB. Now, how do they do this? They move and get to the authorities of the examination board, pay them. Sometimes they will release, some questions to them. That is how the questions leak. Sometimes the external invigilators will be paid so that they will look the other way, so that mercenaries will come and solve the problems for a candidate. And at the end of the exam, they come out with wonderful results, and it will be on air, it will go viral, as if they are doing well. The enemy has invaded that system, and it has now penetrated the schools and gotten everywhere, such that everybody is seeing it as a norm. No wonder in a school, some children will be in a school and will get to the stage, to the level of taking their final exam. Some parents will pull their children out and take them to where they call special centers for their children to take exam. And even Christians also do it. Christians do it. You pull your child out from a school he has been in from the beginning. Once he's getting to the stage of taking final exam, you pull him out, you pull her out to another school. For what reason? There must be a reason. Disciples don't do this kind of thing. The devil has penetrated our schools, the education system, even to the extent of getting into our rooms, into the hearts of our parents. You want to take the child to a center where their result is always good. By how? How is their result always good? The school that did not prepare the child from the beginning, how can the child just come there and make an excellent result? Parents aid and abet examination malpractice. What we are talking about in education, even parents aid and abet it. The devil has invaded everywhere.